Anyway.
Don't recommend either, by the way.
Bobrick asks Kelian if he's going to have someone take a look at that map.
To see if it's magical? I could do that.
Is it?
Well, let's find out. Let's do my first casting of Detect Magic for the game.
Ooh, okay.
It's
real
not
quick,
Destil this time.
You go ahead and expend whatever you need to expend to do it, but I have to check magical conditions on Mytopia. Because I don't know them offhand.
It's a level 1 spell.
Right.
Well, tell me if I'm spending a level 2
slot. Are you
slot,
losing a level 1 slot?
Yeah.
Well, no, you tell me what slot you're using, and I'll tell you if it happens or not.
Oh, okay. Is that how it works?
That's how it works.
Alright, then, yeah, I'm using a level 1 slot, and if it doesn't work, I'll just try it again with a level 2.
Oh,
or we could go home and you could try it there.
Mahogany, you're going to be happy about this. The first heading under the Bytopia Magic section is a new spell, a second-level wizard spell called Value. That is similar to the Identify spell, but it appraises the monetary value of a non-magical item.
That's preposterous, but a thing is worth what someone will pay for it.
Nope. On Sigil, it's worth what the value spell says it's worth.
Well, on Bytopia, it's worth what the value spell says it's worth.
Yeah.
Alright. But yeah, no, the Detect Magic works fine here, and the map is in fact magical. And so is the bag, and so is some other stuff you're carrying, I'm sure.
I'm not even going to ask, because it probably actually is enchantment.
It's enchantment, yes. For sure.
He actually gave us school this time, man. Kelian
That's true. It could have been divination, because it's a magic map.
Make me an Arcana check. Intelligence Arcana. DC 10.
Alright.
Karen and Khalil are so pissed off right now, because...
Alright, so to make you a coin flip, is what I hear.
Yeah.
Alright, I passed.
Passed?
12.
Here's what we're going to do. When you use a Detect Magic feature, if you successfully detect that it's magical, I'll let you use that Arcana 10 to determine what plane it's from, because that's always important in Planescape.
Yeah, that seems useful.
This map was either drawn or enchanted or both on the Beastlands.
And I'm going to say that's a pretty good hint that we should go to the Beastlands to use this map.
Makes sense.
Are we going now?
No, we're going home now.
No, we can't miss the concert. The death concert.
It's late. We have to make sure Riot doesn't die. That's part of the rules, maybe.
I love that we have this group of non-lawful characters that are upset they don't know what the rules are. That's just wonderful.
How am I supposed to
Mahogany's
break
not
the
upset
rules
at
if I
all.
don't know what they are?
No, Serenity doesn't really care.
Elsicum doesn't like being a pawn, that's all.
Dolphiner speaks up for the first time since Aunt Nancy made himself known, and she said, "I'm absolutely not going to the Beastlands. They're the Beastlands."
Oh, I've been there. They're fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Aren't you curious as to what kind of person you are really deep down inside?
She says, I know what kind of person I am deep
towards-
down inside. I'm a mercy killer.
I'm going to edge towards Serenity, and I'm going to whisper, Mouse.
Bobrick speaks up. He says, well, you heard the man. We all go together, or
This doesn't work.
we don't get the cash. He says, and I definitely want that cash. And I'm sure you all do too. And he looks at you five, knowing that you all are planner adventurers.
Oh, yes, definitely want
Look
to
at
Knowing
Xanthes.
that there's no good reason otherwise to have gone to...
Xanthes said anything, or is he still quiet?
He looks like he's pondering. It looks like he's very lost in thought. But no, he hasn't said anything.
Okay.
Do you say anything
And-
to him?
Yeah, I'll say, what are your thoughts?
This man is unlike anyone I've ever dreamed up. It's almost as though his consciousness is separate from my own, but that doesn't make any sense.
Why did I do this?
Could be repressed, Riot suggests.
I've heard of my
grin on his face at that.
I've heard some of my factioneers mention this Beastlands, whatever it is. I may be able to arrange for a pleasant journey if such a place does in fact exist.
And Mahogany will say, that sounds useful, and whatever troubles we run into, I'm sure I could handle. I've spent some time there.
And
Quite a bit.
Bobrik nods. I like the sound of this more and more. You know the plane. Your faction operates out of it. This one can hunt. What are we waiting for?
We're waiting for the 29th. Riot tries to protest.
Yeah, and I nod and say, yes, we have business back in Sigil on the 29th.
And Xanthes concurs, yes, and we'll take several days to get our affairs in order, no doubt.
Let one of the other teams run out, get themselves waylaid. We'll take our time and we'll get there. We have to wait for the proper time to act, after all.
At this point, Dolphinder just kind of looks resigned to whatever happens next. Like, she looks like if she says that she's not going, that someone will just throw her into a gunny sack and drag her off to the Beastlands.
Look,
Wait, you saying she's becoming a problem?
So here's what's going to happen next. I'm going to count to 5, and then I'm going to check Mahogany's inventory, and if that bag is not labeled the problem bag, I'm going to be very disappointed.
No, you're absolutely right. Except it's not the problem bag, it's the bag that solves problems.
It's the solution bag.
It's the anti-problem bag.
Mahogany, what do you have in your bag? Solutions.
The anti-problem bag.
So you all arrive back in Sigil. Are Xanthes, Dolphinder, and Bobrik invited to the show?
Sure. Everyone's invited to the Riot shows.
Actually, Bobrik would already have one of the handbills that he came across, because you kind of dropped them around his neck of the woods.
And he picked one up? You don't just pick things up in the streets of Sigil.
No, he's seen them around. He has like, you're not really going to die, right?
Oh, of course not.
Okay, so is anybody doing anything else before the show, when you get back to Sigil?
Well, I already said that I was doing the level thing, so that's done.
I think the only person who hasn't leveled is Kelian, so far.
Yeah, that's right.
How does let's say my level 1 spells, because those would be the ones I would have had at the time in the Beastlands.
Mm-hmm.
How did those work in the Beast?
Give me 1 second here. I'm just kind of checking your spell list over.
Mm-hmm.
Goodberry doesn't function for purposes of nourishment. And carrying rations tends to not work very well either. The plane expects people to live off the land.
Live off the fat of the land, that's kind of what I was
So any
saying.
extended stay in the Beastlands, when you've been there, you've had to hunt for food while you were there.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like your other first level spells worked fine. I will let you make 5 Arcana checks. DC is 15. Let me know how many you succeed on.
Alright.
Just to kind of
Let's hope
figure out what other things you know about the plane.
Let's hope at least one, you guys.
Well, I'll give you a freebie. It's just common knowledge about the Beastlands that everybody knows, is that flying spells don't work. The only way to fly on the plane is to have natural wings.
All right, and I got 1,
You got 1.
which was the average I should have rolled, so that makes sense.
Okay. Divination spells. Any kind of spells that are attempting to read other creatures or read events or read the future totally fail. The plane just does not permit it.
Again,
This
I guess,
is not an absolute prohibition, the way that, say, water spells are on the plane of fire. So you can cast divination spell with spell keys, but Mahogany doesn't know any spell keys.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the 3 things you know about magic effects on the plane.
All right, sounds useful.
Riots.
Mhm.
How much of your gear are you wearing, like the stuff on your character sheet? What on your character sheet do you have on your person when you perform?
When I perform, so I perform disguised.
Mhm.
So I'm wearing the armor, and I've got the boot dagger, but I'm not wearing the rapier because that's hard to disguise.
Okay. Are you using any kind of magical effects during the show?
No, because I think that disguise self is a concentration thing.
Okay. Keeping in mind that I think some of your companions have set abilities that you could ask of them. I know for the fact that the Modron is a bard, weirdly enough.
Oh yeah, that's right. But no, I've never needed them before, and I don't feel like I need them now.
Okay. Who all goes to Riot's show?
Trying to
I'll go.
I'll go.
I'll go.
The show is being billed as, of course, watch this performer die on stage. You know, the Dustman made a prediction that Riot's going to die. So what sorts... Are you performing songs to that effect?
Yeah, I'll play it up in a couple songs, just divert from our usual repertoire.
Like dirges and shit.
And here's our new one, Riot's about to die. This is one from our B-side.
It just consists of the word "die" 15,000 times.
Now our new #1 hit, it looks like this plastic bag will fit me. Riot, let's have a performance check.
All right.
Any Dustmen show up in the audience?
No.
Let's see. Performance. What's my performance? Oh, it's pretty good. That's going to be 24.
Okay. When you all start the set,
Mhm.
there's not a lot of people there. Just passers-by on the street, mainly. I mean, some people showed up holding a flyer. You see one group of sensates, in particular, who got a hold of one that are really excited to see this performance because you're going to die. But as you play, more and more people show up to the point where the establishment, which is not very big to begin with, becomes packed, and then the doors and windows are open and people congregate on the streets. The tavern does excellent business. And roll a d20.
This is a 5.
Over the course of the night, you obtain 5 gold pieces in assorted copper and silver coins
Okay.
from tips and people throwing it up on stage. And the show goes really well. What is the last song you play of the night? What is like the big finale?
The big finale of the night is a song called Pandemonium.
Now, when you play this song, is it just the sound of winds? And does the stage start spinning?
No, but Tasbet has been like we've worked a routine where Tasbet and his Yelf pipes are doing his best to simulate the terrible moaning sounds of Pandemonium during the song.
And this song is very unique, and you're not sure if the clientele likes it.
Except for the sensates.
And at the end of the show, as the last few bars of the song are fading away, there's a loud peal of thunder that just whips the sky. The drizzle outside does not indicate a storm, and lightning is pretty rare in Signal. But this peal of thunder rips across the sky, and the entire crowd and bar is enshrouded in darkness. Someone screams, not from the stage, but from the crowd, just having startled them. And then within a few moments, the lights come back up. This shroud of darkness vanishes, dissipates into the air like mist, and Riot is laying dead on the stage.
The fuck?
And for a moment, it's just silence. And then applause.
Shit.
Starting with the sensates and then everybody else in the bar and people in the streets who are craning their necks in to see at the spectacle. Riot's bandmates look dumbfounded. It takes you guys out in the crowd a second to realize this isn't part of the show.
Run up to the fucking stage.
Okay, you push your way through the crowd and get up to the
Yeah.
stage. And do what?
And check Riot. Is she actually dead or is she just fucking around?
What do you do to check her?
Check her heartbeat, chi flow.
Okay. You go to check her key flow, and there's none. None at all. You go to reach down and check her heart, and your hand passes right through the body, like smoke. And your hand jerks back, and you realize it's an illusion of her body.
I'll rub my head, just be like, oh, fuck, what is this? What is this even?
Is she
I
dead?
Yes. Say yes.
Yeah, she's dead.
And you guys can't even have this conversation over the sound of the applause. Like, the crowd hasn't caught on that this isn't part of the act yet. That something has actually happened. It's like the proverbial murder mystery show where the guy actually gets shot.
Call a coroner, I guess? I mean, what the fuck?
And after a few moments, Barbarian first kneels down on the stage, and her hand, when she tries to reach down and touch Riot, of course, goes through the illusion as well. So her hand jerks back. And there's some talk amongst the bandmates on the stage about what's going on. Was this part of her plan? Did she do this on purpose? And then they look to Ciclon because you know her better than they do.
I shrug. I'm just as lost as they are.
And as you're having this conversation, eventually the illusion dissipates and blips out. And the people on stage had a very unique show, but eventually they start to filter away from the tavern, having loaded down this man with gold and drank the majority of his bub.
Look around backstage.
I mean, there is no backstage. I mean, you've got this tiny little hole-in-the-wall bar, and they had one side of it along a back wall. There's no backstage area.
Mahogany walk up, so he'll talk to Ciclon and be like, "All right, so where is she, Ciclon?"
I have no idea.
I'll turn
just
to the
said-
bandmates. Did they tell you where we should go look for her?
And Ronrug, the gnome, he's a gnome, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a gnome. He says, listen, Riot never tells us that she's doing anything. She pulls this kind of thing all the time. She says we're going to play, and then she disappears. And it's one of her tricks, I'm sure. She's probably waiting back at the house.
All right.
Serenity's there, right?
Yeah.
And I'll turn towards Serenity and I'll say, Serenity, you know illusions, right? Gnomes and all that. Would they have had to be here to? Would she have had to be here to cast this?
I mean, conceivably, she might have wanted to be here if she cast it. I don't know. Is she in the bag? Have we checked the bag?
Well, I'm not looking into the bag right now, so I can tell you one thing: she's not in the bag right now.
No, Riot's not in the bag. Just her head.
Wow.
No, there's nothing in the bag. Riot's not
Okay.
there.
I was gonna say that's fucked up.
hell of a truck.
Anyway, we need to find her.
Riot's bandmates, I mean, the Modron gets out his wrench and begins to wrench the yaff pipes off of his face.
Shouldn't he do that in private? It seems a little...
The band looks disturbed, but not totally worried.
All right,
Ronrug seems convinced that she'll be back at the house, that she just wanted to pull a prank on everybody, made a little gold, played a little music.
All right, well, I say we go back to that house and see if she's actually there.
Okay. Is everybody following Ronrug back to the Kip?
Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mahogany's a little suspicious, if only because he thought the whole point was to make the dustmen look like assholes, and now they all look great.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of... Yeah, that's what I was thinking, too.
Ronrug's house is this little, just underground apartment area that has stairs leading down this building into this series of rooms that he either owns or rents out. I forget if we have established which. But you get there and the door is broken, clean off the hinges. The windows of the apartment have all been smashed in. And inside, the place has been torn apart. And now Ronrug's starting to look worried.
Riot, are you here?
And nobody's in the building. Nobody's in the rooms.
Does it look like someone broke in?
Oh, yes.
Is like the door been forced inward, or
the door's been broken inward? The hinges have been snapped. They did not even bother with the lock.
I'm gonna start looking to see if there's any other ways in or out that have been forced, or if they went out this way as well.
Okay. Is Kelian here?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, Kelian, do you think it's your people?
Kelian shrugs. If it was, I don't know how we could tell.
Riot.
Mm-hmm.
Please make me a wisdom saving throw.
Off the table.
Yeah, that's my favorite kind of roll. Let's see, this is a 10.
10. 1 minute you're singing the song. You're coming up upon the last few bars of Pandemonium. I mean, you got the winds coming out of the yaff pipe here. The crowd has the exact sense of perplexion that you were aiming for. You were trying to go for something totally unique that nobody sane would write a song about Pandemonium and then include the winds. But that's what you've done here.
Mm-hmm.
And your artistry is on stage for all to see. And the next minute, your head begins swimming. And looking out, people in the audience begin changing colors, growing features, tentacles coming out of their shoulders, eye stalks coming up out of their heads. Looking out into the street where the drizzle is pattering against the crowd and the cobblestones, and it starts turning into psychedelic colors, pinks and yellows and blues, and the water starts to build up in the street. Nobody seems to notice but you. And it begins to wash into the bar, and it, inch by inch, begins filling it up. And then, to your side, where the Modron is playing the yaff pipes, you realize that coming out of the pipes are not just sounds, but the actual winds of Pandemonium, which whip this psychedelic water up into a storm. And the stress of it all overcomes you, and you black out. You come to, you're not sure how much longer, and you're aware of only two things. One, that a bag has been pulled over your head, and a rope or a string or something has been tied around your neck, keeping it taut. It's not choking you, but it's holding it tight against your neck.
Right.
And the second is that your arms are very painfully pinned against your back, and you're being marched somewhere.
Okay.
And that's where you come to.
Let's see. I'm going to say hello. What's happening?
And as you say that, you feel this very heady sensation weighing down your brain, and your words come out a little slurred. It takes you a few tries to get the words out. And you say, hello, what's happening after a few tries. And the response you get from 2 or maybe 3 of the people around you, you're not sure, is unkind laughter. And then one of them responds in a very gruff voice, "You've got an appointment with Diller, love. Wouldn't want to see you miss it."
Oh, so he's back here then.
And
I didn't think he'd have the balls to come crawling back to Sigil after what he did.
Says, careful what you say about Diller's balls in his presence. Do you make any motion to try and resist?
No, it seemed like a bad idea.
Okay.
So I'm looking over my spells now to see if there's anything that works on creatures I can't see, and I don't think there is.
Welcome to my world.
So they kind of half march, half drag you somewhere. And for a few minutes, you feel the drizzle. So you know you're outdoors. You know they open a door at some point. You know they squeeze you into a kind of a stuffy corridor. And at one point, you feel the sensation of traveling through a portal. And eventually, you're very brusquely thrown on the ground. You collapse to the ground, crashing with your knees first, and then your chest. And then you put your arms out and try to pick yourself up. And you feel the bag violently torn away from your head. And you're sitting in a dark room, surrounded by people.
And okay. Will produce flame work? Just so I can see anything?
There's light in the room. There's lit torches against the back wall. So you're in some kind of stone chamber. And many people, all men, mostly human, but a few Githzerai as well. One man is standing with his back to you, a few feet in front, and next to him on the ground you see a discarded pile of harmonium armor. And he turns around slowly, and in his hand he's holding your handbills that you made a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that poke fun at the harmonium and their place in this ring.
I said, "Oh, so you're a dealer then?"
And he gives this mock bow.
How free am I at the moment? Am I still tied up?
You were not tied at all.
Okay.
No, you had a bag on your head, but they were just holding your arms.
I'll deliver a mock curtsy in response.
He says, "I will try to be as polite as possible, for I know that keeping up appearances is expected of me. You fucked me very badly."
Wow.
Says, "You listen here. There are 3 people in Sigil you do not want to fuck. Factal Hashkar, the Lady of Pain, and Diller. And I'm not fucking sure about the first 2.
And Riot laughs and said, "Then you're putting yourself on the level with them too."
He looks over and nods at one of his underlings, and he dives in and delivers a very painful blow to your stomach, doubling you over. He says, "Next time you laugh in my presence, I'm taking a finger, and see if I don't. Do we have a better understanding of our position now, Riot?"
Riot doesn't say anything.
This is me and my cell, my good loyal boys here. We worked for years. We worked years to get that deep in the harmonium. We were doing good works there, works you would have approved of. And then this, and he waves the handbill. Then he crumples it up, throws it at you, lands at the floor in front of your face.
And I'll say, "Oh, yes, consorting with slavers, working bending and breaking the laws of Sigil. Yes, that's the good work that you're doing.
Don't get self-righteous with me. We're both anarchists. We both know it.
I
Bringing
actually
down
didn't
the
until just
harmonium. Oh, you didn't. You expect me to believe that? I have no patience for anarchists who would foil the plans of other anarchists. Disagree? Fine. Disapprove? Maybe. Foil? I would have never stepped on toes like that.
And Rod says, and how was I meant to know? Who was meant to tell me that you were that deep in the harmonium?
So in the future, you would do well to be wiser to see. Look before you leap. That is, if I allow you to live. He motions to one of the other men, and he comes forward with a small, plain box, sets it down, and it's tied up with string. Diller motions. He says, I have brought a gift for you. Go ahead.
This is not the same box that Traskilla gave me, right?
No, absolutely not. It's not the same size, same shape. It's just a pissant little nothing box wrapped in paper and tied with twine.
Does this look like the same string that we tried to untie before?
No.
Okay. All right, then I'll open it up.
Okay, and you open it up, and inside the box are a pile of bloody fingernails.
And I'll ask, are these other anarchists you were displeased with?
This is absolutely, in particular, one of your contacts. I'm sure you remember Vilmunder. I mean, not anymore. Unfortunately, he's deceased. He says, Vilmunder was the first. I know of the Gnome, the Modron, the two Genasi ciphers, the half-giant. For some reason, you're consorting with an Aasimar fated. The man with the mask. I've counted them all up, and if I don't get what I want, one by one, you will find boxes of them delivered to your door.
What is it you want?
He says, you know what I want. You have what's mine.
The box?
You went to the infinite staircase in lieu of my partner. You intercepted it, and he squealed like a baby. Now the Harmonium know about it. God knows who you've told about it. Says, we know you're not carrying it. Where
That's
is
true.
it?
I said, well, you know that box is well wanted. The Harmonium want it. The Takers want it. Some Archon wants it. I didn't know you wanted it until now.
It's my box!
And I say, and I was getting to that, and I thought, what would I do with a box that all these important people want? How could I make the decision for who to give it to? What would you have done to my shoes?
Fortunately, Riot, I'm not in your shoes. But let's talk about your shoes. If I do not get my box in one day, the gnome will die. If I do not get my box in 2 days, the Modron will die. If I do not get my box in 3 days, one of your Genasi friends will die. Are you picking up the pattern here?
Absolutely. But there's no box to give anymore. Been destroyed.
He says, then that is absolutely terrible news for you and yours, isn't it? I suggest you find it. So do you have anything else to say to Diller?
Nope.
At this point, he motions again to one of the guys, and the bag is brought back down over your head, and you feel the string tighten around your neck again. You feel something being stuffed down the front of your shirt, and you realize it's the box of bloody fingernails. And again, you're marched out of his presence. Before you know it, you're thrown back out onto the streets of Sigil. The bag is ripped off your head. You're somewhere in the lower ward, a few blocks away from where you performed, but it's much later in the evening now.
All right. I guess I'll head back to Romrugs.
So the rest of the party, upon finding Ronrug's place tossed, how much time did you all spend there?
I probably would have helped him, stuck around, helped him clean up at the very least.
I would have been searching for clues to where Riot was taken.
Kelian would also be searching for clues.
I'll let the party make me 1 intelligence plus investigation. Make it at advantage if the whole party is searching.
If everybody else is, yeah, I'll go ahead and do that.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and join in on that. So, who's got the highest point in that? I don't think it's me. I'm probably sure it's not me.
I got a 0. I'm real good. My passive investigation.
I got +2.
Yeah, I got +2 as well.
Will someone make the roll?
You sound like our man, Kelian.
On it.
Wow.
9.
Nothing to give any indication of who did this. But as you're inspecting things and getting things cleaned up, first of all, Ronrug insists that nothing is particularly missing. He doesn't see any valuables gone. And he had a lot of expensive tools and things, magical components. And any of Riot's gear that was stored here is still here. The other thing he notes is that a lot of it's been broken for essentially no reason other than to break it. A lot of the furniture has just been smashed, mattresses torn up, tables overturned, bookshelves brought down, that kind of thing.
Someone sending a message, maybe?
After a few hours of the cleanup, Riot does eventually show up.
Riot, what the fuck?
And this is sorry, everyone. That kind of took me by surprise, too. But I have bad news.
What's the bad news?
Mahogany's bag doesn't work.
And I look in the bag and I say, "That's terrible news."
That is bad news. Okay, so where the fuck did you go?
I was kidnapped. Apparently Diller's back in town. He wants his box. Very badly.
Oh, fabulous.
Should we put him in the bag?
If we tell him the box is in there, he might dive in there himself.
So the bag does work.
Is there any way to get anything out of that bag?
And I say, well, okay, so there has to be a way.
Right, because they said they got
that we're
stuff
using
out of
it.
Yeah,
We're getting
At this
stuff
point,
out of it.
Ronrug interrupts. Well, wait, okay, back up. What's the bag? And he's asking Riot specifically.
It's a bag where you put things that you don't want anymore and they disappear forever, so I thought.
And who's Diller?
Diller is an insane anarchist. It turns out. We all thought he was a Harmonium member, but apparently that was just his deep cover.
Riot, what have you brought into my house?
A bunch of fingernails.
Yeah, I've been meaning to ask.
So what do you do with the fingernails?
I'll open it up and I'll show everyone and explain to him the threat that the dealer made.
Wait,
Serenity will just sort of absent-mindedly start running her hands along her fingernails, like kind of. I mean, do those belong to any of the people we listed?
God, if I know.
Hey, that's a pretty. I mean, I hate to say it, but that's a pretty impotent threat. Here's some fingernails from a completely unrelated person, by the way, because we couldn't get the real ones because they're all right here.
Well, he identified them as Vilmunder's fingernails.
Right.
Is Vilmunder?
But I would never recognize Vilmunder's fingernails.
I mean, you...
Now, like if Vilmunder's head was in the sack, that would be another matter.
Okay. Barbarian looks very, very distressed. What was the Modron's name? I keep calling it
Tasbit.
Tasbit.
Barbarian and Tasbit are both being very quiet. Ronrug is incensed. Like, he's beginning to get very angry. Like, we met on Green Beer Day, and we had some laughs, and I've been letting you stay at my place, and now we're caught up with violent anarchists, and there's a magic bag involved, and what else are you into?
Red says that's a long story.
So are you...
judging by his threat, we don't have a whole lot of time to tell it.
To be clear here, but we're not telling Ron Rugg and the other band members the story. You're leaving that lie.
No, I'm not telling them about Aunt Nancy or the game or any of that.
Okay.
And Riot suggests to the other band members that you might want to find somewhere to lay low. Although I don't know if you can go anywhere that Diller can't find you. I never thought he'd find me, or I never thought he'd come back to Sigil. I thought he'd retreat with his tail between his legs.
Guy like that, probably not.
So you can't do anything to ensure our safety, is what you're saying. Why don't you just give him what he wants?
Because I put it in the bag.
Here, listen. Here, I'll take out the bag. Put something in the bag that you don't want anymore. You'll feel better.
Who are you telling to this? Who are you saying this to?
Ron Rugg.
Ron Rugg? And he picks a piece of broken debris up off one of the shelves and places it in the bag. And you draw it closed, and when you open it again, it's gone.
And I say, see, cleanup is easy.
So you have some of this man's property, and you put it in a bag that makes things disappear.
That's about the size of it.
And if he doesn't get it back, he's going to murder us.
All 11 of us, yes.
I have to say, you all seem to be taking this very well.
We've been through pandemonium. Very recently.
There's ways of solving these things. I'm not worried.
I mean, we could just give the bag to the harmonium, or we could just give the bag. That doesn't work.
And Riot bristles at the idea of giving the bag harmonium.
I was going to say then he can attack them and it'd be fine, but not actually in the bag. Huh.
Maybe we should just go get a wizard, figure out what's in the bag. I know a wizard. You know a wizard. Go talk to a wizard.
That wizard is shit.
Yeah. That's what we need, an expert on bags.
Yeah.
Some sort of bag wizard.
You know, maybe we need to. Maybe we should find. God, his name just vanishes whenever I want to bring him up.
Our signer friend.
Khazriel.
Is that the Archon?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
How do you know this? Our Archons aren't... I don't know what the informal name for an Archon is. I feel like Guy isn't quite...
Lino?
So how do you know this Cutter?
I forget the exact... Well, this is Adam forgetting the exact circumstances in which he met Khazriel. I think it was... Wasn't it shortly after he got accosted by the Doomguard? Or was that earlier than that?
It was earlier than that.
Yeah.
He seemed to know that you escaped from Jandar. But the exact nature of how he knew that or why has not been established yet.
Okay. Okay, now I'm remembering. Yeah. It was a few weeks back before we headed up to Eastguard. He's got some beef with Jandar. In that regard, we're working on the same thing. I think he's given me no reason to mistrust him. He's in fact been very helpful, and I think we should bring him in on this.
Is that all it takes for you to trust a perk? Says some nasty things about a slaver?
I am uncomfortable.
I know a lot of guys, they'll say some nasty things about slavers. I don't know if I trust them all.
Well,
I am uncomfortable with bringing anyone else into this at the moment. Everyone wants that box, and we have no idea what's inside it.
Wait, what box are we talking about? I thought we were talking about a bag.
The
box is in the bag.
Box is in the bag.
Put something else in the bag. Keep yourself occupied.
Be quiet. The grown-ups are talking.
At this point, Ronrug starts packing his shit.
I don't think I'd put that in the bag.
He and Barbarian begin getting their things together. Saying, well, if this... You brought all this danger on us. And he turns to Riot, because I think it's fair to say that we're over.
So, no more ban then?
So I'm going to get out of Sigil for a while and hope that you all clear this up.
We'll move quickly.
Just think about it this way. You're helping to stop a slaver. You're practically a hero.
And he considers that to be a small comfort. Barbarian looks more hurt than anything, more betrayed. Ronrug looks absolutely angry. Tasbit, I mean, he's a Modron. He's impossible to read. He looks like a box. But he doesn't leave.
Box, you say, huh?
Eventually, as you guys are sitting here discussing this, eventually Barbarian and Ronrug take their things and exit.
I'm going to call after Ronrug. Is it okay if I stay here?
And he does not answer.
We know a nice place in Elysium if you want. Alright.
Maybe Pandemonium?
You are hell on bandmates.
It's not always like this. Sometimes it lasts for a couple months.
God damn it! All right, we need to make haste. We need to come to a decision now.
Yeah.
Because
I don't know. The Poets of Distortion was pretty good. I don't know if I could think of a better band name than that.
Ciclon just he looks about ready to just snap back at Mahogany. Then he just
No, I've got
steps
it. I've
away.
got it. The inexorable tide.
I will slap your shit, woman.
So who's this wizard you know, Mahogany? Is he any good?
You know him, the signer we were with the other day. He's a wizard, right?
I thought
Or-
the Mercy Killer
Oh,
was a
that
wizard.
guy. Oh, that, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
she's
right.
a wizard too. We
Oh, yeah,
are
that's
spoiled for
awesome.
wizards.
Yeah, we should not bring anyone we don't already know
Yeah.
into this.
Let's go to who's a better bet? Who do we decide?
The signer's a wizard? Really?
Isn't he?
I don't know.
He's a weirdo. He's a weird person.
He seems, and then Mahogany will make various magic motions. You know, magical.
He has done nothing of the sort. He's just a weird person. We need something tangible now.
I
Elsie
vote
Clone.
for Squeaky Wizard.
Roll a Wiz 10. Just Elsie Clone.
Serenity officially votes for Squeaky Wizard.
Wiz 10. Yes.
Xanthes possesses psionics, but he's not a Githzerai. You've been able to pick up traces of his psionic signature the few times that you've met him. But he's never outwardly used any sort of psionic discipline in your presence.
His ability, whatever the hell he is, it comes from here. He points. Ciclon points to his brain. Same thing as when I seem to be able to move without knowing something's there.
Oh, so you think Dolphin would be our better bet?
I'm just saying my vote's for Squeaky Wizard.
All right.
Wait, is Clone saying that if we use his brain on this bag, we can find the box? Do you want me to put your head in this box?
I think what he's saying is that we're going to get a box of bags of his brain from the guy.
He wants to. If we rattle his brain box, we can find out what's in this bag.
All right. I got nothing else. We need to go talk to Dolphinder, like right now.
Agreed.
So it's the middle of the night.
To the squeaky one.
You all march off to the ladies' ward.
Yep.
Make yourselves known at the prison. The initial reaction is that you're brushed off and told to come back tomorrow during sensible hours. At the gates of the prison.
I'm going to tell them it's an emergency and we really need to speak to Dolphin right now. It's a matter of life and death.
I'm getting a map ready because I like loading up these maps. Makes me happy.
Just let her know we're here. She'll seem really annoyed and exhausted, but then she'll let us in.
Mahogany speaks from experience.
Let's have a persuasion check. I'll let one person make it. No advantage, just whoever wants to do it.
Well, Riot's about to roll.
Yeah,
dice, so.
Riot's got the chops in that regard.
Let's see, 23.
Okay. When you say it's a matter of life and death, for a minute or two they grill you about whether or not you have a crime to confess, or if you know of one that was committed. And eventually you just get down to, look, just go ahead and bring Dolphinder here.
Mm-hmm.
And someone goes to fetch her for you. And when she's brought down, I mean, she was clearly roused out of sleep. And she has like half of her armor donned, but it's clear she's wearing her bedclothes under it, and in fact she still has slippers. And she's not happy to see you.
I say, hey Dolphinder. We might all die unless you can tell us how this bag works.
And her eyes get wide. What? What are you talking about? What do you mean?
Well, we've got this bag, and we put something important in it because we thought that would make it go away. But it did, and it didn't solve anything, is what I'm saying. How do we get it back out?
It's basically the worst solution box ever.
I don't understand anything you're talking about.
I thought wizards knew about solution boxes. And now she's kind of looking at Mahogany concerned.
Listen. I talked to a wizard last time I needed something, and he turned out to not even be a wizard. So I don't know why you people listen to me to begin with.
Dolphinder asks you to show her the bag.
I'll take out the bag.
And to demonstrate its properties.
You have anything you wouldn't miss?
She's not carrying anything. She just has her armor and her slippers.
One of your slippers, please.
Give me one of the slippers.
And she absentmindedly slips off one of her slippers and hands it to Kelian.
Kelian puts it in the bag.
And her slipper vanishes.
See? Wouldn't you like your slipper back now?
Wow!
I like how the entire party just jumped on the same goddamn thing. Like everybody, without even missing a beat, they said, "Here, give us one of your slippers so you can make it go away forever."
This campaign has involved arson and werewolves and rape and lying and theft and backstabbing, and that was probably the biggest dick move we've seen yet.
You see, it's a metaphor for our current situation.
Well, where does it go?
We don't know.
We don't know.
Hopefully
I'll hold up the
somewhere.
bag to her.
All right. I'm going to go back to bed and requisition a new pair of slippers. What you can do
Well, you don't need a pair of
is
slippers.
bring me a
really.
pearl, an expensive one. An unflawed one. You should be able to find them in the bazaar. Make sure you're not taken advantage of. I don't know how you'll go about that. But if it's fake, it won't work. But if it's real, I can help you with the properties of this bag.
Alright, don't get too comfortable because we'll probably be back later on tonight.
Come back in the morning. I beg you.
Lives are at stake, Dolphinder. You're a mercy killer. Toughen up.
She says if there's a crime that's been committed, let us know. And we can help with that. This I'm doing as a personal favor.
All right. Thank you for your patience.
And the slipper.
Damn. And she hops back to bed. At this
I
point,
think
the
that
sky...
was our most productive meeting with her.
Yeah.
I agree.
At this point, it's starting to get light out.
I'm gonna ask Kelian if he's got space in his kit.
Sure.
Oh, good news, guys. It's morning. Now we can go see Dolphinder.
Well, we need to find that pearl he was asking about.
Okay, so Dawn of Clerk's Day, the 29th.
24 hours for me.
If Diller is to be believed, if the box is not in his hands by tonight, he is going to kill one of you.
Well, he said he was going to kill the gnome.
Yeah, but he's an anarchist. You really want to trust the order he gave?
And let's be
Yeah, I mean,
clear.
if he can't find the gnome, he'll reach for whoever's closer to hand.
Yeah.
And also, Darkwood's ultimatum is also passed, so whatever.
I need a minute break. Be right back.
Okay.
Who?
Yeah, let's take 10 minutes.
Okay.
We'll reconvene at quarter after.
Okay.
So, let's
Wow.
get obs out. Break time.
Wow.
Oh, I have the wrong messages on screen. I still have the Zelda message up there. 10 minutes.
Zelda.
There we go.
All right.